My name is
Jenny.
David.
Lila,
Laurel,
Jen,
Lisa,
Dino,
Ari,
Kyle,
I was a
Jehovah's Witness.
Jehovah's Witness.
FLDS,
in the Amish church.
the chosen people.
I was a Scientologist.
I grew up a Mooney, a member of the Unification Church.
2x2.
And I am
Shunned.
shunned.
Sean.
Shunned.
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 Stunned.
Shunned.
Hey, I'm Danny. I'm 43 years old. I was in the move, and my mom and we shunned ourselves.
Okay, kind of auto shunned there.
Auto shun,
Your own
yeah, auto
volition.
shunning.
Understood. Okay. Well, that sounds interesting. That's an interesting start. So we've got a new group, and the fact that your mom and you did this as well sounds like kind of disassociating from the terms of Jehovah's Witnesses. So can I ask then? So how'd you find yourself in the move in the first place? I'm sure we'll get into the background of it in a little bit here.
Yeah. So it was through my father. He was very macho man, Mexican style.
Mm.
So I didn't grow up in it. I was brought into it, but there was a couple steps through it too, where I was born technically into a Catholic religion belief, right? My father's family was very Catholic. My mom they didn't care. Totally different. My mom's family from my dad's family, totally different. So my dad's family, they all listen to the Mexican music, and my mom's family, we all listen to rock. That's yeah. Um, but yeah, he was very Catholic to the point that apparently there was an argument of what I was going to be named. He wanted me to be named after the patron saint of the day I was born, which since I ended up being a preemie baby, I think that got because I came unexpectedly in a way, right?
Okay.
And then he apparently wanted me to be named Callus after the cup that you drink out of.
Okay.
Yeah. And my mom's like, no. So like if you look at my birth certificate, like my name is not even on there. It got addendum, something like that. Where I
So
got
you go
named.
back and redo it.
Yeah, I got named after, and she just named me Junior. So yeah, Danny. So Danny, obviously my father's name is Daniel, and he wasn't even there for my birth. So, but he came back apparently when I was like a year old or so. But then he kept going back and forth. Like he would go to Mexico and come to the States, and go to Mexico and come back to the States. And then finally, my mom moved to Mexico, and then he came to the States and stayed over here. So he didn't really want to be with us, I guess, in a way. I'm not sure. But we'll get more into his details later. So we were over there just being okay. Then he went back to Mexico, and apparently he was a changed man. He went to this Pentecostal church that he got in touch with by somebody he met in the States. So we started going to church with him, but he was very like, no, you got to do it this way. No, you got to read the Bible, 24/7. Like he was just constantly reading the Bible and like just technically like telling my mom every time she was in the kitchen, you got to do it this way. You got to do it that way. Some of the stuff I'm going to say is through my mom's telling me because my mom and I are super cool. We go hang out and we just kind of like just vent to each other. And she's always, um, going back to stories and just not to, I don't know. Yeah, it's just to vent, not to hate or not to, I guess she just wants to remind herself how good she has it now. you know?
Sure.
So,
Well, it
yeah,
probably helps
so,
add some layers to your memories of your upbringing as well.
right,
When you're a
right.
kid, it's hard to remember, and you didn't know what all was
Yeah,
going on.
yeah. So, so yeah, I didn't actually meet my dad until I was, well, like probably 6 or 7 years old, somewhere around there.
Wow, and leave it to your dad to come to America to get like religiously radicalized in some way. We
Right.
have a lot of that here. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So him going back and, going to Pentecostal church, my mom was like, that was kind of different. But anyway, she had him back. Uh, I always asked him, she's like, did you love him? She was like, I mean, we got married when you were a year old. And, I mean, it was just a thing to do. Had his child. And I mean, what else could I do? And
He
he
was
was,
the father.
sending money. He was sending money. He, got a house for her and stuff. So,
Hmm.
um, but yeah, so we were there for a while, and he became really good friends, I guess, with the pastor at this Pentecostal church. And the pastor, according to my mom, was telling him about people that he knew in the States and Texas, right? And then remind you, we're still in Mexico at this time. So he came back to the States. I really can't tell you for how long, because time perspective to me was kind of weird. I would like to say like 6, 7 months he was over here. Then he went back to Mexico and just told us to pack everything up because we were moving. So packed everything up like in a week, said our goodbyes to our family, to my grandfather. And yet, again, my grandfather is big. It has been a big thing, a part of my life, because he kind of raised me. He pretty much raised me. Um, so anyways, I had a hard goodbye with my grandfather and we came back over here to Houston, Texas. And that's where it kind of just started going downhill. So he met this, I guess, brother, that put us to this cult. And when I first came here, I didn't know anybody. And they just put me in this house in this room with a whole bunch of other kids and family or people I didn't know, right? And uh, this is where the cult starts, where pretty much there was the main house, right? And there
So when you
was
all came, can I make sure I understand? So when you came to the
okay,
United States, you all just moved into some house with a bunch of random people you had never met?
yep,
Oh my, okay. So you're getting,
yep.
wow, what a shift. What I mean, the
It
whiplash
was
of
just oh, yep,
Mexico to the United States, family in Mexico to suddenly here's just a bunch of randos that you're supposed to be friends with now. Okay.
yep. So yeah, they just
Wow.
put a lot of stuff in storage, and they just shoved us in a room, right?
Okay.
And yeah, they told us we can come out, but my mom and I, she was like, yeah, we were like cats when you first take them to a house. We were like just opening the door and looking out the hallway and then going back
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
But at and this is another thing that's kind of like the move was a lot like Jehovah's Witness, where they like love bomb you.
Oh yeah.
Like here's some candy, here's some iced tea, and here's some food, and you just come on out whenever you're ready. We'll be here for you, blah blah blah, right? And being a kid, obviously, and a single child, um, obviously, I was like, oh yeah, I have friends, right?
Yeah.
But uh, I didn't know any English at the time, right?
Oh no.
Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, that was hard communication there. We pretty much did sign language and like pointing at things, right? There was a lot of that. But a couple people there spoke Spanish and they would translate. But being a kid with lots of sugar and you ain't stopping, right? So
True.
yeah, uh, so
So
yeah,
there was a big house that you all were put in, like a main building, you said, we're saying?
yeah, there was the main house, which was a pretty decent sized house, if I remember correctly. It was about a 6 bedroom house, and they had converted the garage into a school room. They had chalkboards and they had desks. And that's where I started going to school with them right there. Right there and then. Like I was in 1 week and the next week I was already trying to learn English and do schoolwork. Um, and at this time, yeah, we were living there for a bit. Being a kid, I want to say, yeah, like 7 years old, around there. Um, it was difficult, but it was fun. Memories are, a bit of a blur. Um, but yeah, I mean, I started learning English pretty quick just because of the friends, surrounding me and just constantly being there, right? Constantly being there with, friends talking, trying to communicate and all that stuff. Finally got talking to the people there.
I
And
imagine this
then,
was kind of like an adventure for you. I mean, you're talking about like how you felt. I'm sure it was kind of an adventurous to some degree as a kid, but at the other end of the spectrum, you don't know what you're missing. Like you could have been, I don't know, you could have been back in Mexico with family and creating friends who spoke your language and not having, like you could have had a different type of upbringing, but as a kid, you're just going to make the most of whatever situation you're put in because that's your normal. You don't know anything else. So, well, I guess I'm here. I might as well learn English and I'm going to try to have fun with these other kids because what's the alternative?
right, right. So, uh, I'm not gonna stick too much on the kid part, but now I'm gonna be talking as an adult. Um,
Okay.
so there was Art, Arthur. He was the main elder,
Okay.
right? And then there was his brother Leonard, and then Frank was. So it was technically three brothers that took care of this little satellite of a cult, right?
Okay.
Um, and the guy that my dad had contacted that brought us to this place, he was on another side of town. So he had his business, he had his thing going on, but he would come for every meeting night, which was Tuesdays and Fridays. There was a meeting at the main house where it was kind of like, what you call it, your meetings, right? So you
Oh
had
yeah,
a
like the
meeting.
Jehovah's Witness meetings. We had two
Yeah,
during
yeah,
the
yeah.
week and one on the week on Sunday.
Yeah, we didn't have the Sunday or weekend one. We just had it Tuesday and Fridays.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, he would come and share his thoughts. But yeah, so they were the main, I'd say pastors, I guess, elders, and all the rules went through them. Everything they dictated, you know, menu items on the lunch and dinner. Uh, so Arthur was also the principal of the school, if you want to put it that way, because he would
Okay.
come in and just check up on the kids, and he would be the one that would administer corporal punishment if need be.
Hmm.
Yeah.
How
So
many
yeah,
kids
we
were in this thing?
uh
Or how many people and how many kids and I guess how many people in general were
all
in
right, right.
this
So in
satellite you
general,
said of this?
yeah. So that whole, I want to say Pearland, Texas, right? So the whole commune there, I'm gonna call it commune. Uh, so a couple people like Frank and Leonard, they lived in their own separate houses, right? And Leonard had a big property and he had like mobile homes, right? He had like kind of almost like a trailer park thing going on. And so he housed a couple of the brothers in there, right? And then a couple other people had their own houses. And I know like one person had their own house and their own like main business. They had like a huge landscaping business, right? So I guess in total, adults uh, was around 45 people.
Wow.
Yeah, Yeah, because the main house got really packed really quick
So
once it was.
45 adults.
Yeah, 45 adults,
And how many
and
kids?
there was some single people there too, and didn't have kids. But kids, I want to say there was about 15.
Okay.
Yeah, 15 kids, and like it ranged. There was two teachers. There was so technically the elementary, and then the middle and high school, which wasn't that very many. There wasn't. I think the oldest one at that time was Leonard's. I don't know. It was Frank's son. I think at that time he was about 15 years old, right?
Okay.
And then we had everything from like newborns, and I was like in the
So
middle.
were most of the people there Art, Leonard, and Frank's family? Or was it a lot? Were
No,
there
there
lots of
was a
people
lot
like
of
you guys?
yeah. There was a lot of mixed. There was some people that I didn't know till later. One of my mom's friends one of my mom that made a friend. Her first friend she made there. Her name was Lenora,
Hmm.
and she worked for the Pentagon.
Oh,
Yeah, her husband worked for the Pentagon. Apparently, they were just like some data entry people.
okay.
But yeah, I don't know how they. He didn't tell me everything on how they ended up coming way over here in Texas. But I guess it was through communication and people knowing people. But yeah, they came and they're the ones that had the biggest family at the time. And one of Lenora's sons was my friend, which we were in the same uh, grade because we were the same age. But she had five kids.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how many?
And,
So you did say earlier that this was like a satellite. So is there
well,
a
a satellite
larger
meaning,
cult?
yeah, yes, it was the move because
And
so
so
there
the
was
move has people all over what? The United States or
yes, so there was the farm. Yeah, I think I'll explain to you right now.
okay.
So it was farms. The reason we moved to a farm in Arkansas is because there was all these other farms kind of pushing all these people to move to a farm. So there was one in Ava, Missouri that held, I think, about 80 people.
Okay.
Uh, there was one in Bowens Mill, Georgia. That one was pretty big. They had uh, a lot of people there. Bowens Mill also held summer camp for kids. I went there one year. They
Hmm.
had summer camp for kids. And then the one of the big ones, I think it was called, if you look up the move, it'll kind of tell you where they are. But there was one big one in Canada. It's called Blueberry Farm. And yeah, it was apparently it was pretty big. And
You said Blueberry Farm was in Canada. Do you know where in
yeah,
Canada or
like near mm,
maybe I
Toronto, I
can
believe,
okay, I was saying I can
maybe.
probably look it up, but
Yeah, there was also another one in Haines, Alaska. That one's
oh.
kind of that one was kind of big as well.
Well, dang, the
We were,
move is bigger than what I'm thinking here. All right.
yeah, because so when we moved in and all that stuff, I think it was around like well, yeah, because it was I started school with them, so it was around summertime, and I got in right at the school when school started,
Hmm.
and then December they uh they had this convention, right? Which is kind of like uh the Jehovah's Witness like yearly thing or
Hmm.
quarterly
The
thing.
regional or district convention back in the day.
Right, right. So they had their own convention and it was in Lubbock, Texas,
Okay.
where all these farms would just congregate at that one uh convention center from this hotel, this Holiday Inn that's in Lubbock, Texas. And it was a good I want to say like over 2,000 people would come in. And I know there was people from all around the world because I made a friend that was from Ireland
Hmm.
at that convention. I
Wow.
met this kid, and we were like in the kid area, like playground, like because they would have a meeting from like 8 a.m. till lunchtime, and then after lunch, so we'll have like a 2 hour break, and then we'll come back, and they would do from like 3 to dinner time, and then go to dinner, and then come back from like 8 till midnight.
Oh man, that's intense.
Yeah,
That's a long day. And how many days
yeah.
was this?
This was a good three or 4 days,
Wow.
because there was so that was the main elders, right? So if you look up the move, the first one of the main characters or persons they address is Sam Five. He passed away apparently back in like 1980s, and he's the one that started this whole the move, right? He's the one that started the convention. He's the one that started, and I think he started it in like Florida. But as growing, or not growing up in it, but being in it, Sam Five was almost like I don't know, the main, like everybody looked up to him. You wanted to be Sam Five. You wanted to be um that like if you weren't like Sam Five by the time you were 30, I mean you might as well just start praying somewhere else, because you if you weren't up to his match, there was nothing you can do about it anymore,
So
right?
rather than having a, s- a group of men like Jehovah's Witnesses have today that everybody looks up to, you all had the typical singular person
Mhm.
who you
Well,
kind of
no,
looked up to.
that's what I'm saying. It's like he was the main guy. There was all these other elders too,
Oh, I'm
right?
sure that they
So
were all a part of it too, but he was the like the measuring stick.
right,
Okay.
right. Because
Okay.
so like even like Art and Leonard and Frank, they were part of the. They were elders in our satellite, but they were just peons technically. They were part of the general admission. They weren't. They didn't even get to sit up on top, because at this convention it was a huge arena, or not arena, but convention center, and they had like a race stage, and they had seats for all the elders, and I can name them. I can name every single one of them. And but the main one also, he passed away. If you look up the move, next to Sam Five is the one that picked up where he left off, was Buddy Cobb. So it's C, the initials or the letters C dot E, Buddy in quotation, and Cobb. So he's the one that picked up after Sam Five passed away.
Oh,
And
so he became the next leader, so to speak.
yeah, he became the next leader. But like I said, like since Sam Five had passed away, you wanted to be Sam Five, and all these other people were just technically stepping stones, I
Mhm.
guess. Um, but yeah, it was a huge convention. Like I said, they would technically close off the whole hotel. They would book the whole area, and everybody would just go there, sit for hours and hours, and just listen to these people talk about end times, and the
Okay,
wrath,
that's what I
and
wanted to ask. So, I mean,
yeah.
we'll get more into your individual story as well, but like, so what is the deal? So, what's the move? What's the goal for this? Is it so? Is it Christian? Is it end times? What
It
is
was
what
a
are the beliefs?
non-denominational,
Oh, okay.
but it was a lot like Jehovah's Witness, where it was like the end time is near. The end time is near. You need to be prepared. Um, God is going to come any minute now, and He's going to take us all away. He's going to
Oh, the
burn this
rapture.
world. Uh, the world was just going to end.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what I remember. And what scare me is that you're here or not. The world is. There's going to be great balls of fire, going to burn and destroy the whole world, and we're just going to be taken up in the Holy Spirit.
Okay.
Yeah. So we weren't
So kind of your own
gonna.
Armageddon, so to speak.
Yeah,
I don't know if
so
you want to use the term,
that's
but
where it differs a little bit. Where we weren't gonna stay here in paradise. We're all going to heaven.
yeah, okay.
We're all going to heaven, and whoever stays here is going to die. There's no in between. There's either you're dead or you go up.
Wow.
So it was just, and most of these like preachers, yeah, preachers because they weren't really pastors. I don't know. Most of these preachers, like they had their their farm. They had their farm, but they would travel all around United States, Mexico, Canada, South America. I don't know if they went. I don't know if they went to Europe. They might have gone. Some of them, I think, might have gone to Europe, but no farther than that. I know a lot of them were scared of going to Asia,
Hmm.
like Asia and India and stuff like that. I know they weren't big into that. But yeah, like I said, those farms, and they each had their farm, and they would move around. And at the end of the year, we were all congregate here in Lubbock, Texas. Well, not here, but there in Lubbock, Texas. And
Okay.
the way they preached was they all started like soft spoken and hey, how you doing? But then right in the middle, there would be like, yelling, screaming and speaking in tongues and like getting everybody like riled up. And I know one of the preachers, his face would turn red. Like he would be just like, and the Lord said,
Fire and
and
brimstone.
I'll be waking up from my nap. It's like, oh crap, what yeah,
Wake
yeah,
up, Danny.
yeah. Yeah, so it was an experience, and then we would all come back to obviously Pearland. And like I said, everybody had their own house except for us, except for the time that, being a kid, uh, and in school, and like I said, we were in this house, right? And this house had two, three bathrooms. Yeah, had three bathrooms, and they were being used except for the one in the master bedroom. So I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go over there. So I run over there, and once I come in, I open the door, and again, I'm a kid, and I don't know, all this stuff like it's gone into my head yet, but I open the door, and there's this girl in there, one of my schoolmates, I guess, and she's about to use the restroom, and I need to go to the restroom. So since I was knocking on the other door, I already had like my pants unzipped in a way, like I'm buttoning unzipped. So I walk in and I'm like, I just stand there because it's the first time technically seeing anybody that, you know, like that.
Mhm.
Uh, and then right behind me comes one of Arthur's daughters, right? And I think she's 19, 20, somewhere around there. So I open the door. This little girl's about to use the restroom. I'm about to use the restroom on myself.
Thought you were.
Uh, Yeah. And then she comes kind of behind me. I don't know how she ended up behind me. I didn't see her coming up behind me, but so she's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I just want to use the restroom." No, you're not. You're trying to look at her. And I'm like, but, there's still the communication, like English, Spanish was still kind of rough, right? So she pulls me back, like yanks me back. She goes in the restroom and starts yelling at the little girl. I run away, right? And I go back to school. Well, they pulled me out, and there was this whole ordeal. They brought translators, so this is where I get taken to the back room, right?
Okay.
I get taken to the back room. So Arthur, Leonard, and Frank. These guys are like, especially Frank. Frank's actually the cool one. He. Uh, Thinking back, I don't think he gave two shits about what was going on, but they were all about like 6'3", 6'4". So they're towering over me. You
Mhm.
know, they have thick voices. And you have this translator, you have my mom, she's crying. You have my dad, he's looking at me like he wants to beat the crap out of me.
Yeah,
And
you made him
so they're
look.
trying, right. So they're trying to get It's like, hey, were you trying to touch her? And I'm like, no. And it's like, well, that's what my daughter said. I'm like, no. And he's like, well, we're gonna have to punish you somehow, right? But again, this is just what my mom remembers because I hardly remember that conversation. I was so scared, right? So they were trying to say that I was, coming on to this girl, and I'm like, God, I don't even know what that means, right? So all that happened. Apparently, I was a bad boy.
Mm.
So they asked my dad to leave, like not leave, but move from the house. Like we
Oh,
couldn't be at this house. So that's where like already my dad was not a dad. Like he was never affectionate. He was never like willing to hear me out, anything like that. All I remember is beat. I got beat that night. And then my mom, she wanted to leave, and they were like, my dad was like, no, you can't leave. If you leave him here. He's not going anywhere. So she's like, you can't do that. And so he brought in the elders, and they're like, oh yeah, we'll back him up. You ain't leaving without the child, or you ain't leaving with the child, right?
right.
If you want to leave, you leave by yourself. So ever since that time, my mom and probably me, we got like technically blacklisted because my mom after that, she was like always, we'll get into more of the shenanigans she got into, which is kind of funny in a way. But yeah, so we ended up moving to an apartment that was close by, which was a big relief for my mom, right? And again, still, this is probably like 6 months in, 8 months in. I really can't tell you like exact time span, but we moved in. I started going to school, started kind of learning English. We went to Lubbock. That was always at the end of December. So like
Were you
it was
still going to
Christmas.
the move school, or were you going
Yeah,
to?
that hasn't changed.
Okay.
Yeah, they actually had a bus driver technically, so it was a big like
Oh, wow.
one of those big vans,
Yeah.
and they would just pick up all the kids from all around the houses, right?
I was hoping that maybe going to the apartment, you got a little freedom and maybe you got
Mm,
exposure to other kids and to,
uh,
the world
somewhat,
outside a little bit more, a little less isolated.
somewhat, but the apartment we moved into, it was one of those like very small places that only had like 10 units,
Hmm.
and they were all adults, or through I remember they were all adults, and obviously my dad and the elders were like, don't talk to anybody else.
Okay.
You go in there, you shut the door, and that's it. You come out, you get in your car, you come over here. So that was pretty much what was happening that whole time.
Hmm.
Um, but then, yeah, they would pick me up, and uh, I would still go to school, and like I said, it's still not a year in, right? And all this stuff's
A lot
happening.
for less than a year. Yeah.
Yeah, and then that's when we hear the talks about moving to the farm. Oh, before this, like one of the bigger shocks was my birthday, right? Because my mom would celebrate my birthday all the time, but we weren't
Sure.
allowed to celebrate my birthday, right? So I was like, man, that's a bummer. So
Oh,
I got
no.
in
So it's
trouble
just like the
again.
witnesses, no birthday celebrations.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
No TV, no radio,
Okay.
no nothing like that. Also,
No exposure
uh,
to the outside world or any joy, it sounds like.
right.
Okay.
So I got in trouble because somehow, some ways, like, hey, you're turning so and so is turning, 11 years old. So I started singing a happy birthday song because that's what
Oh,
we do. Oh, dude, I got in trouble. I got punished. I got sent to the room. You're not supposed to do that, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, all right. So a week after, I don't even remember when my dad's birthday is, but because it's been completely erased from my memory because of this thing, right? So my mom wanted to do something nice for my dad, you know, and so we only had one car, which he used to go to work. And I remember my mom's like, "Hey, come on, let's go to the store. We're gonna get stuff to bake a cake for your dad when he comes home. We'll do a cake because we were out of the house, so we could do it, right?" He was like, "It's not gonna hurt anybody because nobody's gonna snitch on us." And I'm
Sure.
like, "Okay, cool." So we walked to the store, and on our way back from the store, we're walking down the street, and this is like a small town. Pearland now is bigger, but back in the 90s, it was a smaller town. You can walk anywhere, right? And my mom and I were walking down the street. It doesn't even have a sidewalk. That's how like kind of rural it was. So we're walking down the road, and one of the members saw us, right? And he's like, "Oh, hey, what happened?" It's like, "Oh, I just went to the grocery store." Like she kind of communicated herself through it too. And so he's like, "Oh, come on, I'll take you guys to your apartment." So we got a ride, right? It wasn't that long. It wasn't that far either. But anyways, um, the afternoon came. My dad got home from work. He was expecting him with a cake. He got so mad. He started yelling at them. At them, my mom, and at the time my uncle. He knew we were here, so he came by to wish him happy birthday as well. He started yelling at me for some reason, and he took the cake and just put it in the trash can, right? And my mom got so mad, right? And he's like, she just left the cake there. I remember the cake being in that trash can, on top of the trash can for like 4 or 5 days. It was just sitting right there on top. And the worst part was for my mom was because he asked us like, where did you get the stuff from? It's like, well, we walked to the store, and then on our way back, Michael, sorry, Michael picked us up.
Yeah.
That's his name. Michael picked us up and brought us to the house, and he's like, "So you were out there walking like a whore? You were out there just walking like you're a street woman and stuff like that?"
Walking
And
like
I'm
a
like,
cake whore. I mean, what kind of how's that's so stupid?
I mean, like, I was like, whoa, what? And I mean, this is an old apartment. So I could hear everything, right? And
Oh,
I'm getting so like sad and
yeah.
disillusioned at all this
Not a
because
place
it's
for a
like,
kid.
right. And it's just after that, it was just constant arguing between my dad and her. It was just like he would rather be at work all day long, and just come back here. As soon as he got home, he would eat and then want us to go just hang out with the brothers. And it's like, my mom's like,
He was
man,
so your dad was all in on this thing,
oh,
and
he
your
was
mom was
always
kind of along for the ride and wanted to leave but couldn't
right
because
because of
she
me.
knew that
Yeah,
you were
because
the collateral that was going to be used against her.
right,
Wow.
right.
That's a tough place to
Oh, yeah. So that's when talks about getting the farm and all that stuff. And I remember being sick to my stomach because I was sitting next to my mom, and I'm like, it's like, dude, I remember specifically asking her, it's like, they're moving to a farm. It's like, well, they all are. It's like, so where are we gonna be? She was like, don't worry, we're not going with them. Right? She told me like in secret, like we're
Okay,
all in
so
the
there was
meeting.
like an announcement that everyone
Yeah,
in your satellite was, including like Arthur, Frank, and Leonard, like everybody's gonna move.
oh, yeah. So this is Arthur, Frank's, and Leonard's satellite, technically, right? Because remember
Right,
I told you there's Ava, Bowens Mill, Georgia, Haynes, Alaska, and all that
right,
stuff,
right.
right? So this is theirs.
Okay,
The commune I'm in it's technically property of Art, Leonard,
okay.
and Frank, right?
You
We're
are
their
gonna move
property
to a farm somewhere else or to
in
one of
Arkansas.
their farms.
No, in Arkansas. So
Okay.
it's so they ended up selling all their houses.
Oh,
Uh, they made this guy sell his landscaping business, and they bought this 300 acre uh 300 acre property like border Arkansas. So it's the northwest part of Arkansas and the southern of Missouri. It's a
hmm.
a little place out there called Lead Hill, Arkansas.
They're
And
like in the
so,
Ozarks.
yeah, around there.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's like a whole bunch of little small towns there. It's called like Lead Hill. One's called Diamond City. The biggest like town city, I guess, major city is Harrison,
Okay.
but that's all I remember from over there. But yeah, it was
So they
mostly
just
tree.
they just eliminated the whole
Oh
Texas
yeah,
place you were in, and everybody. I guess is this why it's called the move? Because they all move at some
yeah.
point.
Everybody moves. Yeah, like everybody like started out somewhere and then they moved to this one very secluded area. Like everything's almost handmade. A lot of this buildings there are like mobile homes. Like I went to a couple, right? I went to the one in Nava, and like I said, I went to the one in Bones Mill for summer camp,
Mhm.
and a lot of stuff was like uh, just made. Like there was no contractors; it was just made by hand by them. Mobile homes. There was a lot of mobile homes. Uh, so yeah, it looked like a trailer park.
Okay.
Some
All
of them.
right. Um,
Yeah.
so they're okay. They're doing the tiny home thing before it was a big thing, I guess.
Right, but the property they bought had a main house, which
Okay.
was a decent sized house with a basement. But then they bought a couple RVs to put around the property as well.
All right.
So that's where everybody would just post up and sleep. But yeah, for the most part, it was a lot of makeshift
So
rooms.
Harlan, Texas becomes would you say Lead City,
Lead
uh,
Hill.
Lead Hill,
Yeah.
Arkansas. Okay. Do
Right.
you know
So
why they,
yeah,
can I ask you, do you know why they moved? Like, do they
because they
get
didn't
like
want to be in the
does
city.
somebody start like under like are they doing something untoward and maybe the police or the government or someone is starting to come down or there's tax issues or something so they just disappear?
So what my mom says, it was mostly because the worldly place, right? We're all subjected to temptation of the world, of the city, what the city offers,
Okay.
uh,
So
especially,
moving removes the temptation.
yeah, especially all, other religions that are not of us. Uh, Halloween was a big one. I mean, they put fence like that plastic sheeting fence
Yeah.
like to guard holes sometimes. They
Yeah.
put that around so they wouldn't all the trick-or-treaters wouldn't come knocking at the doors.
Oh wow. They just didn't
Yeah.
want what like the devil coming on their doorstep or
Mm,
something.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what I remember.
Okay, so thus
Um
the compounds. They're trying to really keep you guys isolated away from
yep.
anybody else.
And it was very isolated because like I said that Lead Hill and Diamond City, I want to say now I don't know, but back in the day I know the population was like under 3,000, right?
Hmm.
On in those towns. And we were still like 20 minutes away from those towns, right?
Oh, okay. So these are
Yeah.
small towns and you're not even in the
Yeah,
small town. You're being
yeah,
kept away
no.
from that. Okay.
Yeah, we're still there. Like my mom needed surgery one time and the nearest hospital was an hour and a half away.
Okay. So
Yeah.
did the place in Texas did it start growing or something and there was just more people around so they wanted to
Yeah.
move somewhere more remote?
Yeah, those it started growing a little bit
Uh,
to what I remember. A couple people did not make the move, but a lot of them did. I want to say it was a couple brothers that I know uh, that they were like, yeah, we're not. That's not us. You know.
did they stay in the cult even though they stayed behind?
No, not that I know of.
Can you not do that? Do you
Yeah.
have to be in, like, could I in Clarksville, Indiana, be a
Mhm.
part of this thing without moving on to one of the properties?
No,
Okay.
no.
All right.
That's where
So
I
you're in
first
or
heard
you're out.
it. Yeah, that's where I first heard disfellowshipping. Yeah, it's like, oh no, they're disfellowship. They're not. I mean, they
So
would
those
come
guys, those
visit.
brothers who didn't move got disfellowshipped because they wouldn't, or they disfellowshipped themselves or something because they
Yeah,
wouldn't move.
right,
Wow.
right. Yeah,
And they use
they.
that term. That's interesting. You don't hear that very often.
Hmm. So yeah, the move over there was, it was um again, it was fun to my memory,
Sure.
but remembering it, it was difficult because I had all my friends, but I did not have my family. And I always would see my mom sad. But then again, at the same time, I wanted to please my dad, right?
Yeah, I
Because,
mean, you want to get his approval, right? You want your
right,
dad to be
yeah,
proud
I
of
mean,
you, and he's
right,
withholding any of that from you.
right. So, like I said, he was never like affectionate.
Yeah, we were all taught to chase love, like as Jehovah's Witnesses, but it sounds like there as well, right? It's the move. Well, it's the move. It's the thing.
Yeah, it is a move.
Well, it is the move. It's the move of
Yeah,
abusers. I mean,
yeah.
they might be affectionate for a minute, but then they withdraw their love and try to suck you back to that, like make you
Hmm.
chase them. They enjoy the chase,
Yeah.
the power of
So,
that.
yeah, I remember on our move over there, um, well, obviously my mom was forced because she was like, I'm not moving, but it was the whole argument, and obviously my father brought the
Right.
elders, and they're like, "Hey, she's not being submissive," you know.
Mm,
So obviously the how you call the bargaining chip was me.
yeah.
So they're like, "Yeah, I mean, again, you can leave, but he stays with us, right?" So and then I remember they put her through some pain because my mom was having pains with her wisdom teeth.
Hmm.
And it was a good, like, because it was like a caravan, right? We all packed in. It was like, I don't know, 15 passenger vans and like a big old moving truck packing all this stuff and just look kind of funny and weird at the same time.
Yeah.
But yeah, my mom was really aching from her wisdom teeth, and they're like, "Well, you're gonna have to suck it up because we ain't stopping for you." So this was like 17, 20 hours of traveling time, right? And even when we got there, like everybody, they put her in a bad spot because everybody had a room except for us. We, whatever wasn't unpacked, the boxes, they made a makeshift room they just technically stacked boxes and they made a makeshift room and they just put a bed in there and a little lamp. And they're like, there you go. Here's your curtain. You can use as a door, and here's some pain meds. So then after that, so my grandfather wanted to check on us, see how we were doing, because we
Yeah.
had made another move, and so he came by to visit, and my mom was still in pain. This was like 3 days, I don't know, maybe a week, and she was in a lot of pain, right? So she was like, "Hey, can you take me back to the doctor at least and stuff?" But I had to stay, right? She was more than welcome to leave and take care of her
Sure.
tooth, but I had to stay. So yeah, she left. Um, she got that taken care of. She came back, and that's when uh around the time I think when they started like going low on funds because they had to feed all these people,
Yeah.
right? Uh,
Yeah.
and
I was
again,
wondering how they financed all this. Yeah.
yeah, and I'm still in school, going to they did a one of those RVs they made into a school. So yeah, we were still going to school there. Mm. And then yeah, everybody was just all the ladies were just doing stuff around the house, chores and cleaning up and making sure breakfast, lunch, and dinner were, hot and warm and ready. And the guys, I don't even remember what they were doing. I know they had a big shop and everybody got into like woodwork because there was a lot of trees around.
All right.
But that didn't really pay the bills. So yeah, we started like really like going down like the whole like no more money. We gotta, tighten our belts and stuff like that. And like I said, still memories were fun because all the friends, but then at nighttime was all these arguments, my mom, my dad, and my mom was, after a while, she was like, no filter, whatever. You know what? They're going to throw me in the back room anyways, no matter what I do. So my mom being Spanish speaking, if she didn't like somebody, she would just start cussing them out in Spanish. Just,
Okay. So she found her ways, her outlets as she
oh
could.
yeah. And it's like, what's the worst they can do to me? They're going to put me in the room. They're going to say things to me I don't understand. They're going to put me back out. Right.
Sure.
But a couple
Can
times actually,
I
I'm
ask
sorry.
you, you were having fun with your friends, like the I guess like the other kids and stuff.
Yeah. Those
Were
other
you
kids.
seeing, I mean, it's a compound. There's a lot of people
Right.
around. You're with the adults too. Would I be correct in assuming that it wasn't just your mom and dad who were fighting? Sounds like a very stressful situation that could have been for all of the adults.
The thing is, I point out more on that is because my mom kind of always wanted me close because there was corporal punishment. And
Mm.
anybody who saw anybody doing, or any adult seeing a kid doing something they weren't supposed to,
Hmm.
was getting beat. A switch, a belt, just backhand.
The kid was getting beat.
Right. So my mom wanted me to be kind of close. So that's where like I always heard just my dad and
Oh,
mom
because you
argue.
weren't around the other families that much.
Right. I mean, they were around, but I wasn't like,
Yeah,
yeah.
you
But
weren't
I
off
mean,
with them. Yeah, okay.
yeah, but I mean, now with the whole, my mom and I talking through everything, I was
Right.
like, oh yeah, everybody was at their necks,
I'm
because
not.
there's only so much you can stand from, seeing the same people every day.
Yeah, I mean that's got to be really tough. You're around the same people, and it sounds like there's not much to do, other than,
Right.
I mean, here at least in Arkansas, you can what, clean the sa I mean, what are you even cleaning? Your room
Right.
is boxes stacked. Like, well, there's not even much to do. It sounds like everybody
Yeah.
had to be bored and at each other, and money's
Right.
low, and food's
Right.
low, so that's just going to stress everybody.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, but since the property was big, and there was a framework for greenhouses,
Okay.
right? Just the framework, like those long, like I think it was like 150 feet long
Okay.
greenhouses. And I remember it was two, yeah, it was two. One, they just put tarps over it just to kind of hold like equipment. And then the other one, they fully like insulated and made it work. So after a while, the ladies were in charge of pollinating and doing the maintenance on all the tomatoes. So they did like hydroponic tomatoes, right? And then I remember they tried to grow like raspberries and wild berries out there, but that didn't work out. Then they tried to do like chickens so they can sell the eggs,
Hmm.
and that lasted not too long. Apparently, there was a big pack of wolves that just tore the chickens to shreds one night.
Okay. It's like
Yeah,
the world's worst farm. I mean, like,
yeah. I mean, they
all
were
they
all
can grow
city
is
people.
tomatoes. I grow tomatoes
Yeah, no,
outside. I don't need a
well, no,
farm.
that's the whole thing. Is like they were all city people. I don't even know.
Oh gosh.
I don't even know like what Art and Frank and Leonard were doing before. Like I didn't know what the profession was, right? But
Yeah.
I know it wasn't farming. But the only reason like the tomatoes were nice and very well taken care of was because of the guy that owned the landscaping company. Like he's the one that took over that whole part, right?
Okay.
He told everybody what to do. Like if you want tomatoes, this is how it's gonna go down. But obviously, also when we first got there, we didn't have all the equipment, so they only like hand tilled the ground, and something like it didn't work out. But also fertilizer and like cold ground or something. The timing, I forget the whole thing, but yeah, the blueberries were no go. The chickens, they bought a few cows, but then yeah, the money started going out really quick, right? Trying to feed, 60 people,
Yeah,
somewhere around there.
a lot of food.
Um, yeah. So that's when we started eating a lot of biscuits and gravy and a lot of cereal and some pea soup and stuff like that.
So we talked about this
Well,
in the back room a little bit for the
right,
Patreon subscribers, but so this is where you had to eat biscuits and gravy for like a month for every
right,
meal or over a
right.
month. If you'd like some extra content, if you'd like to learn more about our guests today, maybe even have an opportunity to connect further with them, you can do so by joining the back room tier at patreon.com/shunned.
Right.
Okay, that's
So we got a little break because I got a little break. It was summertime and my grandfather came to visit us, right? And he got my dad to finally let me go, right? It's like, hey, we got to take because my mom was doing some immigration things, like
okay.
properly, like being a citizen. Uh, so that's why my grandfather went over and he's like, hey, we got to take care of this paperwork. So you got to go and Junior's got to go and, stuff like that. So through a whole bunch of like talking and like you them setting rules like they can't go here, they can't talk to these people, a lot of that stuff, right? And my mom's like, okay, sure, yeah, whatever. Right? So they finally let us go. So we come over here and that's we were at the immigration office or we were at some office and she picked up the newspaper and that's when David Koresh was on the front paper, right? On the front page.
Mhm.
So what's that like 90 what 94?
Oh man, I don't know when that was. Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
that
But
when I was young. Yeah.
David Perez, right?
Oh yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
that's yeah. So she
The
read up
Branch
on that.
Davidians. Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So she read up on that and she's like, holy crap, right? And she like started talking to other people and oh yeah, it's a cult and they're like, it's just a whole bunch of families and they're like secluded and they're like this and that and nobody goes out and they dress like this and they only read that and she's like, well, I'll be yeah.
Oh, this sounds familiar, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh
And that's
man.
when like my grandfather's like, you can't go back. And she's like, I have to. It's like they're gonna. She was still scared they were gonna take me away, right? Somehow, some way.
Well, it's
And
that
my
power,
grandfather,
right? They have that
yeah. And
mental and
so they
emotional
kind
power.
of. I mean, and my mom said, she tried to like not believe everything they said, right? Because her idea was like, if you can believe you're not doing anything to me either, right? Like her mentality was like, you're as human as I am. You can't
Mhm.
kill me. You're not gonna kill me, or hurt me too bad. You could probably whip me and tie me up, but that's about it, right? So in
Do
a
they
way, she
do that
wasn't.
to adults?
So my mom, well, we'll get more into that. I know
Okay.
of a couple, but I know my mom, after a couple times. She got punished, so she was actually locked in her room. Like later on, she got a room like in an RV because somebody else left. So we
Mhm.
got their room, and she was like padlocked in her room, like she couldn't leave, and she was only allowed one meal a day. I forget exactly. Oh, she cussed out Art's wife.
Okay. Oh, I'm sure that did not go over well. Okay.
Yeah,
All right. But
yeah.
they weren't beating
Oh,
adults.
Mm, they
Maybe.
beat my dad,
Hmm?
but that comes in later.
Oh,
So
okay.
the
All right.
end in the story. But yeah, dun, dun, dun,
All
dun.
right.
Yeah,
Foreshadowing.
yeah. So but hang on, let me look at my yeah. So yeah, my mom was punished. Uh, yeah. So we started running out of money, and yeah. Um, so yeah, we were in Houston getting all the paperwork. Then we
Uh-huh.
went back, right? And she kind of kept
Oh,
it to
you did go
herself.
back. Okay.
We did go back. We
All
did
right.
go back. Um,
Mm.
so I don't know exactly on the timeline of this, right? So we went back, and then my mom started getting these pains, right? At first, we didn't know what it was. It ended up being her gallbladder, right?
Okay.
But for the long time, I don't know if you had your gallbladder removed or gallbladder
No,
pains.
I still have it, but I've heard it can be quite painful.
Okay. Um, so they're really painful. I
Hmm.
had them, and yeah, she started getting those pains for a while. Like this was like months, right?
Hmm.
And all they did was pray for her. Like, yeah, you're not going to no doctor. You're not doing this. We're gonna pray for you, and everything's gonna go away.
Is that because they don't believe in doctors or they don't
Right? They
have the
didn't believe in
money to send
doctors.
it?
Like anybody would get sick, we'd just pray for them. You know?
Oh, like
Yep.
Christian Science, like, hey,
Just
let's just pray and
Tylenol and
God will
just
take care of it.
yeah, Tylenol and prayers, technically,
All right.
right? Um, so it just kept getting worse and worse for my mom, and she's like, "This ain't helping." And and again, this is when we didn't have much money, or they didn't have much money,
Hmm.
so nobody wanted to help. They're like, "Hey, you can go to a hospital if you want, but ain't nobody gonna help you," right? So she's like, "Well, can you take me?" So they ended up taking her to the hospital. Like I said, it was an hour and a half away. Uh, and she was admitted there, and she had gone with it so long that she actually she had an infection, right?
Hmm.
Because it kind of like the bile leaked out, and
Oh yeah, it could get bad.
yeah, she had gallstones and all that stuff. Um, so yeah, she got that, and so she was at the hospital for about 3 weeks, right? And like I said, nobody wanted to help her. They didn't want to pay for it. They didn't want to even visit her. Like she called so I can go visit. Like because
Mhm.
I was starting to worry, right? And they're like, "Oh no, your mom's fine." I'm like, "Well, can I see her?" It's like, "Oh, it's too far away." So after a couple times, like not even my dad, like I would ask my dad, like, "Can you take me?" He's like, "No, I can't go. Like we can't go. That's too far, and we're not allowed to go out there." So finally, after asking him a few times, and then my mom calling that she wanted to see me, Art and his wife, they ended up taking me. But I remember that trip, an hour and a half of silence. There was like no radio. Like Art and Trish, they didn't even talk to each other that I remember.
They
I
weren't
was just
interested
sitting.
in you either.
No. Oh God, no. No, they so I got there and they just stayed in the lobby. I went to see my mom. Uh And I don't know if they timed it like this, but back in the day, I remember them having like visiting hours, right?
Hmm. Right.
And I don't know if they timed it like that, but I think I just got to see her for like 20 minutes.
Probably. Yeah.
Like it wasn't long enough. And she was just, we were both crying and stuff, but at least I got to see my mom and, she was all right. And she told me she would be back, right? And she kind of like, now that I remember, and when I talked to her, she was like, "Yeah, I was trying to tell you like to be ready." I'm like, "Yeah, I kind of remember you telling me to be ready, but I didn't know for what." But the whole thing is like the doctor that helped her out was super nice. I wish I remember his name, and she doesn't remember his name either. Or I think she does. Like Dr. Stahl or something like that.
Hmm.
Um, but like he was so nice to her. He didn't charge her a cent for her whole stay at the hospital. She got, well taken care of. And then he's the one that started talking to her about, like, you're in a cult. Like, you need to get out of here as soon as you can. Like, you cannot be here. They don't care about you. They want nothing to do with you. You're just, that's somebody for them to just step on. That's it. So that's when my mom like really opened those 3 weeks. She said she felt, even though she was in pain, even though she had surgery, she said she's never felt so good being away.
Yeah, she probably felt free. That's interesting. A lot of people wake up, let's say from Jehovah's Witnesses or other cults, because they finally get a chance to be away from the indoctrination and such.
Right.
So that gallbladder issue was probably quite the benefit to her because she got
Hmm.
time away. And it sounds like this doctor must have noticed, hey, nobody's coming to see you.
Yep.
Nobody's talking to you. Like, there's
Yeah.
something going on here.
Yeah.
Good on that doctor.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, when she came back, we were still there for a little bit. And to what I remember is just that she was, or that what we talked about is that she was just trying to get her things in order, right? Whenever she could, she would call my grandfather and tell him what was going on. And like, yeah, we can't be here, Junior and I. Uh, so after she came back, she recovered very slowly for some reason. Um, yeah, it took her a while to like really get her energy back and everything. Um, but during that time, they finally like picked up like contracting work.
Hmm.
So they all learned how to do chicken houses, like the huge long industrial ones. So
Okay.
yeah, they would leave for like a week and then come back on the weekends too. So now there was only like two elders that would stay back, right? Well, not elders. So there was Frank that would stay back. He took care of things, and then there was this other guy named Johnny, was like uh, a step down from them, and then who else was there? I forget who else was there, but they would take care of the meetings during the day or during the week. And on the
Okay.
weekends, we would have like a big meeting where everybody was there or all the other workers. So they were pretty much it was just ladies at the property, at the farm for during the week while the guys went to work. And that's where like my dad, like I would get freedom from my dad because he was just, like I said, he was never affectionate. He never played with me. I tried to get him to play with me. He never did. Uh, I remember one time I was so proud of this Lego fixture I made. Like I made this van with a trailer and stuff like that. And he came in the room and kind of like stepped on it. He stepped on it. He cracked it. Right? Oh, it's Legos, right? So it fall apart. But I wanted to show it to him, and I told him like, "Hey, look, you broke what I was going to show you." And I started tearing up. And he's like, "Well, here." And he just completely disassembled it. He was like, "If that's how did he say? If that's all you're worried about, then that's gonna be an idol or something like that." So he technically like
Oh, good Lord.
he told me like Legos were an idol. So I was banned from playing Legos after that. Like I wasn't allowed Legos or anything like that anymore.
I'm so sorry. I mean, your dad sounds so cold.
Yeah, no, he was.
Well,
I mean,
he didn't want to show his son love because he didn't want Danny to be his idol, right? You know, and I say that facetiously, but also just I think a lot of people who are drawn to these kinds of things, they're just so about themselves and whatever the god is, and the god, whatever it is, becomes everything. Or maybe it's the way the brothers sought him. He probably cared about somebody's appearance or somebody's
well,
vision of
the
him.
yeah, the only person he really cared about was Art,
Yeah,
Leonard, Frank, and
there
the
you go.
guy that kind of pulled him into that area, which was his name is Modesto,
Hmm.
and he's passed away as well. Um, And it's just like whatever they said went.
Yeah,
And
that's
his priorities were, you know, the congregation, him being my dad, and then
right.
us. We were like second thought.
Yep. Yep, understood.
So
Live that.
it
Yep.
was always like that. He was very unfair. My mom, I mean, I applaud my mom for trying, for just trying to make it work in a way. Like she was hanging in there with him for me, but I mean that took a lot of strength on her end. You know,
Sure.
so yeah, it was just
She thought she was
now
doing the right thing by you, trying to give you your father, but he's not
yeah,
the
and
father that you needed to be given.
and I know he was verbally abusive to my mom, obviously, but
Yeah.
she told me he was physically abusive as well.
Yeah, she was probably stuck for reasons too. It's
Yeah,
a cycle of abuse.
yeah. So yeah, that's when they started getting a little more money. So we started eating a little better. But yeah, this is all pretty much we're reaching kind of the end here because after, my mom got her things in order, then she recovered. Um, then that's when everything kind of went by pretty quick. And uh, oh, um, one weird thing that did happen during her recovery is so we were talking uh, quite a bit ago, and she was like, "Hey, remember that night? There was what I remember is a cold night, right? And the people from Ava, Missouri, from that farm, they came over, and there was this other farm that was nearby. I forget the name of it. Um, but they had their own commune thing going on as well. So it was like almost 200 people in this one area, right? And uh they did like their own like mini convention. So it was like 3 days, 3 or 4 days. I remember it was like, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday kind of deal.
Hmm.
Uh, and my mom was still recovering, so she wasn't very mobile. She had a hard time walking after surgery for some reason. So she wasn't very mobile. But this whole thing, this little mini convention happened, and then everybody started, packing up in their vans, and they're like, "All right, we'll see you next time," blah blah. And they started heading out. Well, the road to go to the main road that takes you into the city is pretty far. It was I want to say it's like we were still like 3 miles, I think, from the main road. Right,
Hmm.
it's all just dirt road, gravel road. Anyways, we see the trail of lights just leaving, right? And we just go back in the house, right? Everybody's, it's late night. I think it's like 10 o'clock at night, something like that. And it was cold. Uh, and we're all just kind of packing it up for the night. And all of a sudden, they come back, right? You hear the trucks pulling back up. And this one kid, he he ran. He's the first one that got there. He ran. He puts his head in the door and he goes like, something's happening outside. We can't leave. There's this red wall. We can't go past it. It shuts our vehicles off. And everybody just immediately bolts out outside the house. And I remember just seeing like a red glow over the property. So when it gets like cold and foggy and just the city lights and you
Hmm.
see like this just the clouds kind of like red glow, right?
Sure.
But the thing is that there was no city lights, right? We're in the middle of nowhere. There is the low cloud, but it's like red. It's a red glow, like red. And my mom, she saw that, and like what I was doing is I didn't pay much attention to it because everybody just dropped on their knees and started praying, talking in tongues, raising their arms up in the air, crying. There was people hugging each other. And I kept going back into the house and getting like coats and jackets and blankets because it was like good like 30 degrees outside, if I remember correctly. And I was just covering people, giving them their blanket, giving them their jacket. And it went on for like 45 minutes, probably. So my mom, she stood underneath the like the porch cover because she had to sit down, but she said she could see like a glow, right? And everybody from their vans started coming out and doing the same thing. And so it was like a pasture full of people just on their knees, just freaking raising their hands, praying and crying and all that stuff. And now that my mom and I talk about it, it's like, what was that? You know, like what was that? And she's like, that's probably aliens. I'm like,
I was
because
gonna say,
it
there's
just like,
some dude out there in a field who just has a giant, flashlight with a red lens on it or
yeah.
something,
I was like,
and
man, that's so weird.
and
Like,
and
yeah, it
and,
was
and
weird.
everybody's kind of in on it, because it's
Yeah,
like, well, I mean, we could get into
the,
the psychology of speaking in tongues and things like that as
right,
well. Yeah, there's a pressure there to everybody kind of feels the same and does the same thing, and what you're expected to do. And so I just wonder
right.
if there was something, who knows
Yeah,
what it
yeah, man. I
was.
don't know. And that's when, like, my mom doesn't believe in aliens, but she just brought up, it's like, oh, it's probably aliens. Who knows,
Why not?
right? But it was fun. It's funny yet weird because again, I was a small kid. I did see it, but
Yeah.
then again, it's just like, poof, just over the head, whatever. And it's
And
not like
everybody
I
was
go,
okay. It didn't hurt anybody. Nothing
yeah,
happened.
everybody was okay. And then, but what gets me, I guess, I don't know. I don't know if like they were in it also, like you said, but like they said that there was like this light curtain that they couldn't pass. Like as soon as they turned on the truck and tried to move forward, it was shut off. But it was like, a lot of people, and I'm like, oh, I don't know,
I
you
don't know.
know?
Key is awful easy to turn too.
Yeah, too.
I'm just
But
saying. I mean, call me skeptical, but
no, 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 no. I'm skeptical too, but I put this as like I put it on my note like as a funny. So it
no,
was
that's a
like,
that's a heck of an experience. And
yeah,
well, I don't know what it is. I mean, certainly not everything is easily explainable
right,
in this world. But I could also just see people who want control or want to. I can see people who want control creating a thing,
right.
to get people worked up.
Hmm.
I'm sure that like really reinforced a lot of people's faith to some degree.
Yeah, yeah. I do believe that too.
Makes
And
sense.
but like for my mom, that was like, that was it. She was like, man, these people are freaking nuts. You
Hmm.
know, like that's
I got
that's
to
not
get
gonna be
out of
fun.
here.
Yeah, so we stayed for a little bit longer because I said like I went to the Bowens Mill summer camp, right? They
Hmm.
they put all the kids in there and they're like, you're going somewhere else. We're tired of you guys, technically.
Okay.
Um, so I went over there, but there was a thing where it's like my dad, he's like, okay, you're going up because there what's it called? Mm, mm, they sent a couple people with us, obviously some adults, right? Some
Okay.
escorts, I guess,
Yeah,
or
escorts, chaperones. I don't know.
chaperones, yeah.
Yeah.
So they're like, he was like, I know there's gonna be other kids here. There's gonna be other, from other, but you need to stick with brother so and so. You cannot leave his side. Whatever you do, you're right next to him. And once I see he's gonna give me a report. And if you weren't next to him every single day, you're gonna get a whooping. And I'm like, it's summer camp, and that's what. And fortunately, the guy that went with us, he was in a way kind of cool. So he's like, don't worry about it. Just go have fun. Right. Cause I mean, a lot of stuff he couldn't like go with us. Like it was like kid things that we had to like go do kid things. Right.
Yeah,
So,
but what takes my breath away is just like your dad is setting you up to be like he's setting up this complete trust in people and sticking near these adults. Like this is how kids get abused. This is
right.
how terrible, terrible things happen when you're taught
Yeah.
to be around adults and to just like do what they say all the time without questioning. This is a ripe for abuse.
Right. Yeah. And then luckily there wasn't
Whew.
that in my time. Right.
Yeah.
It wasn't that in my time. So I
Well, that you
didn't.
knew about.
I got some corporal punishment,
Yeah.
but then my mom, she came in like a mama bear and she was like, the
Yeah.
only one that's gonna touch this kid is me. Right.
Yeah. Maybe that protected you.
Yeah, she did. And so we did the whole, summer camp, we came back, and that's when my mom, she had gotten everything ready, right? And she told me, it's like, hey, uh there's gonna be a secret between you and me, right? It's like we need to leave. Like we can't be here anymore. This ain't healthy for us. This ain't good for you. This ain't good for me. And one of the main selling points, right, which is really funny right now, is like so obviously we couldn't marry outside, right?
Hmm.
And there was a very limited amount of girls my
Of
age,
course. Yeah.
uh, and the only one that was like available, I guess, was Leonard's youngest daughter, uh, and she was not pretty. So my mom's like, "Hey, look, the only one you can marry here is Leslie," and I'm like, "Oh,
So
yeah,
she
let's
was
go."
like, come on with me and I'll introduce you. You have a chance otherwise.
Yeah.
Okay,
So,
that's fair. But how did you feel about, your mom's telling you you're going to leave? Was there any part of you that was indoctrinated enough to want to stay? Were you excited at the prospect of leaving, or were you going to miss your friends? Like what how'd you feel in that moment? I can see it
so
being
I
very
felt,
conflicting perhaps.
yeah, I was very conflicting because like I had
And
a
your
lot of
dad.
questions. Huh?
And you're leaving your dad.
Yeah, at that point, I think my dad and I were like already uh like after the whole, you can't have this toys. Like he even got mad at me because my mom bought me some shoes and they had a neon yellow streak on it, and that was a worldly color. Like
All right.
I put them on once. He took them off. I took them off, and I wanted to put them on again the next day, and they were gone. Like gone.
What a
Yep.
joyless existence they're trying to
Yeah.
create.
Yeah. So yeah. So the whole thing with my dad is like I was already like on the fence about him. Right. It was like, well, I mean, he wants me to do all this stuff, but I don't get any of this from him. I don't know if I was putting it together yet, but yeah, it was kind of like that. So my mom was just like, the feelings I got was, yes, I was sad for my friends that was leaving, and it was another big change. But then again, I was gonna be with my family, right? She told me, it's
Yeah.
like, hey, your grandfather's gonna come pick us up in the middle of the night. We're gonna walk. So we walked those, 3 miles on a gravel road
Mm.
because we didn't want any lights in case somebody was up, and
So you all in the middle of the night just got up and were quiet, left and walked out?
yeah, I just got a backpack.
Oh, what a
Put
moment.
Yeah, I got my backpack. I put a couple pieces of clothes in there, some shoes. She says, don't worry too much. We'll get some more when we get back. And yeah, so this was I remember it must have been like around this time, around October. It was kind of cold,
Hmm.
and I remember her telling me, it's like, hey, this is the last Friday you're going to be in school with your friends, so don't tell them anything, but just say goodbye or tell them something. So I mean, because they were going to find out anyways, right? But
Yeah,
uh
but you can't have them find out ahead of time because it
right,
sounds like they were not gonna let you leave. Boy, that's a
right.
dangerous. Like I appreciate her heart in that and wanting you to get to have some closure there, but
Hmm.
that's so dangerous because you're a kid and kids mean well but do dumb things. You could have easily tipped this off.
Right. So the good and bad part was like my dad and the main elders were out building the chicken houses, right?
Mhm.
So they usually didn't come back until like Saturday morning. So, we left Friday night
Okay.
technically. So, yeah. So she didn't have to worry about my dad being in the room, when we left.
Yeah,
And
that's smart. Okay.
being also less people around walking if there was anybody like doing security work or anything like that. Or just happening to look out
Right.
the window at 2 a.m.
So you guys walk the 3-mile dirt road, gravel road to the main road, and your
Yeah,
grandfather came and got you?
my grandfather was waiting out there.
Wow.
Yeah.
How did it feel to get in that car?
Just sorry.
No, it's all right. It was quite a moment.
Yeah, mostly just oh god.
It's all right. Glad to see your grandfather.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, I know you miss him. Well,
it's
I'm
just
glad he was there for you.
just remembering his face, the big smile.
Hmm.
He always had a cigarette in his mouth. Uh, Knowing that he rescued me
Yeah.
again. Mm,
Yeah.
it's just that's the thing. It's like it's not what I was feeling that night. It's just right now remembering his face.
Sure. I mean, obviously, I know, again, we talked in the pre-show in the back room about your grandfather. Obviously a special guy. And I yeah, I'm so I
Yeah,
mean, he's the one who checked on you guys. He was your lifeline to the outside world. He's the one that made sure you guys were okay. And
yeah,
I'm really glad you all had him.
yeah,
And
and
he obviously loved you guys.
yeah, yeah. It's just yeah. He always like he visited. He didn't visit that much, but yeah, just he was worried.
Yeah.
But
But we all need a Chano in our lives, you know? We all
right,
need that person who's, rooting for us and who's interested. And I'm glad that you got to have that. I imagine there's probably some other people there who didn't have anybody on the outside, uh, hoping to see them again.
right, yeah. So
If you're feeling stuck in your life after cult involvement and can't find the life you want, leaving a cult is a new beginning on a path to healing, not some magical end itself that is healing. Relief from the immediate pain feels good at first, but that's not necessarily true happiness. The feelings of social awkwardness and isolation, lack of self worth, perfectionism, patterns of being attracted to emotionally unavailable people, not even knowing who you are yourself. All of these things and more are lingering effects of that environment. Being in a cult isn't just following a doctrine, but it's following a culture, a way of life, a way of being that doesn't just go away because you stopped attending meetings. If you want to shortcut the path to healing instead of trying to figure it out on your own, maybe even work with me professionally in my cult recovery coaching practice, you can find opportunities to do that and also for other cool resources at my website, exjwhelp.com. That's exjwhelp.com.
I was the trip back home. It was kind of quiet. Um, and you said you wanted a song, right?
Yeah. You got a song
Uh,
that kind of represents your story in some way.
so the first stop, like fueling stop we made, I remember him saying like, "Yep, tank is full. We're gonna get as far as we can away from here. We don't have to fill up till like we're long gone. Nobody's gonna see us. Blah blah." Right? And I remember getting out of the truck and going into the store and listening and hearing Hotel California by the Eagles.
Oh wow.
And especially the song, especially the part that says like you can check out anytime you want, but you can't never leave.
Yeah.
And for some reason, that's just ingrained in my head, you know?
Well, yeah. That's wow, what a song to hear in the gas station
Yeah,
store. Very appropriate. And you were gonna get to you were about to leave. You were
yeah,
heading out
yeah,
with a full tank of gas and someone you could trust at the helm. That's
yeah,
heck yeah, man. That's I love that you all were able to get out.
yeah.
What a moment.
So obviously, later on, my my dad found out.
Yeah, and I figure he knows where you went, right?
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but I actually ended up staying with one of my mom's cousins, right? We stayed with my mom's cousins that my dad didn't know where he lived, which is still here in Houston, but Houston is a massive city, and so he wasn't very very happy, obviously. But uh, we we found out later um, that another family left, right? Not the same way we did. They just, technically just started throwing stuff in the van, and they're like, "This is my van, the only thing I have that I own, and we're getting out." It's
So
pretty
maybe
much
you
what happened.
guys helped other people to see that they too could leave.
Yeah, yeah.
Aw,
So
that's awesome.
yeah, so she ended up talking
Hmm.
to her, my mom, right? Ended up talking to this lady, uh, because there were, obviously there was some kind of friendship that was built in those years. So yeah, she reached out to my mom. Um, I guess I think they were in talks about that too, like them secretly. I think if I remember correctly.
Gotcha.
Um, so yeah, they left. They pled it. They apparently they got more begging from them because actually it's that family that left was the guy that owned the landscaping business that did pretty much their whole greenhouse thing. He took
Oh,
care. Yeah.
okay.
So they got a
That's the
lot of
person who left?
yeah,
Oh, the person who they made sell his business and everything else?
yeah,
Ooh, yeah, that hurts.
yeah. So they're the ones that left. And you know what? Actually, what's funny is they have a very rare, I think for me, I don't know, peculiar last name.
Mhm.
And I was on the podcast. I was looking through podcasts one day on Spotify, and this name popped up, right? The last name, and it said uh, their last name's Kalusik, right?
Okay.
Uh, and I saw the first name, and I'm like, man, that sounds like the friend I had, right?
Mhm.
Which is the son. So through Spotify, I looked up. He had an Instagram account, and I looked him up, and it actually was him. So we got to talk a little bit on that, but he was younger than me. He was like, I think when I left, he might have been like 7 years old, right?
Right, and how
So
old were you when you left?
9 or 10.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, he was very little. Like he was a baby when I first saw him, right? But yeah, when I left, he was like 7 years old, somewhere around there.
Mm.
So I asked him, it's like, hey, are you like so and so that has, your dad is this guy and your mom's that lady? He's like, yeah, that's my mom and dad. He was like, I don't know if you remember me, but I'm Danny. I used to be with you in that group. It's like, oh yeah, I remember you. And he does like these really short, like self-motivating Spotify things.
Hmm.
Uh, but yeah, we just got to talk to a little bit. But yeah, we were he was so young, and it's been so long that we really don't have much else to talk about. And
Sure.
since he left early too, so there's like really not much communication. But he's like, hey man, it's like good to see you and stuff like that.
Well, yeah, you root for each other. I mean, a lot of ex-Jehovah's Witnesses think I want to have ex-Jehovah's Witness friends, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but just
right,
because you shared an experience doesn't mean that you would connect in any other way had you not shared that experience. And so,
right,
but you can still cheer each other on and hope everybody finds whatever they want in life as they finally figure out who they are and find their path.
right. So going back to his parents, that they were getting begged, and the guys were pleading them to come back, and the mom was like, he was like, no, not going back, not going back. But they asked them, it's like, hey, can you at least come back and show us how to run this thing, and then you can leave before like their harvest for the
Okay.
tomatoes
Hmm.
was bad, right? So he agreed on that, right? So he went back for a few weeks or a month or so. Um, and during that time, my dad was trying to get my mom to go back. So he came one time over here to Houston. Then on his way, I think he went to Mexico first. Yeah, he went to Mexico first and sold because my mom said we left the house like renting. We were renting the house. She had
Hmm.
a house in Mexico, so they were renting the house. So he went over there and sold the house. Right, he sold the house, came back, and said like, "Hey, you got to come back with me." And she's like, "Nope, I don't have to do anything. You can do whatever you want. I'm here." And during this whole time, I'm nowhere. Right, I didn't get in contact with him. She didn't want me to contact him, because she knew that it was going to be a big deal, right?
Sure.
And by this time, she already had become a American citizen, so she found out like he couldn't do anything. He couldn't threaten her with deportation. He didn't threaten her with
Ah,
anything,
congrats.
right? So yeah, he's like, you can do whatever you want, right? So he goes back to the farm, and mind you, he has all this money from this house, right? So according to Mr. Kalusik, right? Uh, he was asked if he can donate the money to the costs, and apparently my dad said no, that he needed it to like work things out with my mom and see if he could like bribe his way to bring her back in a way. And they told him that we were a lost cause. We were shunned. We were disfellowshipped. We had nothing to do, but we are the world now, and they can't do nothing about us.
And therefore, he not have anything to do with you guys too because you're part of the world now?
Right.
Mm,
So that money is not for us. That money's for them. So apparently, the thing is that that room we had was next to the master bedroom in that trailer
mhm.
where the Kalusik family was in. So they came and asked him for the money, and they got into an argument, and they beat him up. They
Oh,
technically like beat the money out of him because uh, he I don't know if he still does. I don't care, but he's always had the money under his mattress. That's his thing.
well, I mean, let's face it. He also he went back and sold that house and took that money to put you guys in a bind.
Right.
and to try to bribe you. I mean, now you have nowhere
Right.
to go back to, and he's got the money from it. So
Yep.
I mean, hey man,
No, I mean, I
play
don't care.
dirty
It's just,
games. This is what
it,
happens.
it wasn't until then. Apparently, they knocked a screw loose, and he came to be, and he wanted out. So whenever Mr. Kalusik left,
Oh
he
wait,
bummed a ride with him back to Houston.
now that they took
Yeah.
wait, now that they took his money,
Yep.
now he suddenly has scruples, and he doesn't want to be a part of this.
Right.
All right,
But they
okay,
left him penniless.
yeah,
Yeah.
it took everything from him.
Hmm.
Well, and he was part of all of that too. But
Yeah, he was his main cause. But yeah, now he was begging my mom to take him back to let's get a house together. We're not going back over there. And mom's like, no, I'm pretty happy right now.
yeah,
Like, no. So I didn't get to see my dad, which I don't know if get to see is the right word. I didn't have to see my dad.
yeah,
So
I
like
understand what you're
I
saying.
was I
I'm
was
just sorry your
16.
dad was so unhealthy he couldn't be a good dad for you,
No, it's
or a good husband to your mom, or yeah. I'm just sorry that he hurt a lot of people because of how unhealthy he is.
yeah. Um no, I mean you dig your own grave in a way
Yeah,
sometimes.
did it to yourself.
Yeah, do it to yourself. But yeah, he was trying to get back. I didn't
Mm.
meet him. I didn't see him again until I was 16, where I was working, right? I started working to help my mom out, and he came to a place I was working, and I'm like, "What do you want me to do?" He's like, "Well, no, you can come live with me." I'm like, I really have no uh we have nothing in common. You never wanted to do much with me. It's like,
Yeah, why
why?
the sudden interest? What's he
Yeah,
wants? He wants
right,
something.
right. So he left us alone for a while. It wasn't until recently. I have a 9-year-old daughter,
Hmm.
and when she was born, through family, he found out that he became a grandfather. So he wanted to see her, right? So I'm like, okay. I mean, I'm not gonna take away that from you that you're a grandfather and stuff, but uh, I didn't get to see you till way later. So I told him, it's like, yeah, I kept just pushing it back, pushing it back. So he didn't get to meet my daughter till she was 2 years old, which some people say is kind of petty, but
I don't think it's petty. I keep my kids away from abusive people.
yeah,
Well, I don't have kids, but I would keep my kids away from abusive people.
yeah,
People who can't be trusted, people who manipulate people, people who make bad decisions in that way, maybe aren't the best to be around children.
yeah, yeah. And my thought exactly is like, yeah, I remember uh him saying like when we met up because I didn't even want him to coming to my house. I didn't want him to know where I lived,
I get that.
right?
Yeah.
So we met somewhere, in public and everything, and I was just sitting there with my baby, and he comes over and tries to give me a hug, and I, kind of half-assed the hug, handshake and stuff,
Yeah.
and then later on, he called me, it's like, hey, thank you for letting me see the baby. And I'm like, okay. And he was like, the only thing that bugs me, he said, is like, you weren't happy to see me. Like you weren't smiling. You didn't say, hey, dad. Like he went like in detail. You didn't jump up and down. You weren't happy to see me. I'm like, why would I be
Why
happy?
would I be? Yeah.
Yeah. Like
What reason have you
everything
given
I
me to
associate
be?
with you, I told him straight up, everything I associate with you, it's not a good memory.
Yeah.
So I don't know where you want me to pull that out of.
Right. What have you done to earn that? Respect is earned. Love is earned. Well,
Yeah.
love at its most basic sense doesn't have to be earned, but people can do things to cost that when they're abusive and terrible. You don't have to hate the guy. I mean, I wish he would get healthy or whatever, but it doesn't sound like he's
Mm.
ever, has he ever apologized? Has he ever said, Danny, I'm so sorry. I was not a good father to you. I really messed up. I've been an idiot in my life, and I'm going to prove to you every day that I'm a healed person who's done the work to show up in your life as a real father?
No,
I didn't.
no.
Well,
The only people that have apologized is my mom. Oh well, in his behalf, which you know,
nobody apologized on his behalf. He has to
right.
apologize.
Well, I know that's what I'm saying, but the people that have always been by my side
Yeah,
apologized was my mom. Says, "I'm sorry, I'm sorry you had that father," and I'm
well,
like, "Well,
sure.
if I didn't have that father, I wouldn't have you as a mother."
Yeah, you take the package deal. You make the best of it of what you can, right? And you appreciate the mom that you had, and she. Look, we all make mistakes in life, and those mistakes do sometimes hurt the people that we love.
Right.
But it's how you come back from those, right?
Yeah.
Your mom has come back. You know, she tried to protect you. She tried to do different things. She's come back with the vengeance. Your dad, on the other hand, has just come back expecting, like, what do you want me to do? Worship you? Who are you?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
what have you shown?
Yeah. He's
You
called
don't
me
get it just
ugly.
because you have the title of dad doesn't mean you earned that title. Just because two
Yeah.
people had sex and you were the biological product of that doesn't mean they were ever going to be healthy or fit to be your father or mother or whatever.
I mean, obviously he didn't want me that bad because I mean he wasn't there when I was born. He wasn't
Well,
there, for
I don't think
kindergarten.
I don't think it's yeah, but it's not like a reflection on like your worth. It's a reflection on how messed up he is. You
Yeah, and I
know,
mean,
he's
some
messed
of the
up.
words he used that really hurt me, and he's called me ugly. He's called me dumb.
Yeah.
He's called me uh, just and he called me a pig uh, for eating. I'm a kid. I'm gonna eat a hot dog, eat some chips, and then want a pizza slice later.
Yeah, buddy. I mean, this is just your dad is just showing that he doesn't know how to be a dad. He doesn't know
No,
how to love other people. Your dad just expects it like it's but I'm your father, so why aren't you excited to see me? It's like, but
yeah,
that's your father in name only, dude. Like you haven't done anything here. And again, that's not like my mom today would have a big problem with me because I'm an ex Jehovah's Witness and such. Um, I, I mean, she can think I'm whatever she wants to think, but that doesn't mean she's right.
right.
She's the one in a cult. She's the one who has shown, herself not to be very healthy. That doesn't mean that it's my problem or that I'm unworthy of love. Danny, you deserved to have a dad who loved you. This is just a reflection of the deficiencies inside your dad. He's projecting stuff onto you. It doesn't mean that any of that's true of you.
Yeah, no, I know. I mean,
His problem.
technically, I did have a dad that loved me very much, which is my grandfather.
Yeah.
I just, like you said, he was just a sperm donor.
Yeah, and he
So,
didn't, you know, again, I wish he could have been healthier. I mean, he comes from somewhere. I don't know what happened to him or who he is that has led to him becoming this cold dude to his son, but like, and lacking the humility to own what he's done and to apologize and such. I don't know why he doesn't have that strength, but that's a him problem, not a you problem.
yeah, my mom uh, says he was just a coward. He was just
I
because
mean,
he would.
probably to some degree, but we're all born babies. There's
Yeah,
somehow he got there, and it probably has nothing to do with you.
yeah, but
You know, heck,
yeah,
he was
it's
obviously messed up before you were even born. He didn't even come see you be born or whatever.
yeah,
So like
just
that's
his price.
proof again that it's not you. There's something wrong with him.
Right. Yeah, I know. Like his after a while, like I know his priorities were messed up. So,
Yeah,
but
he's not well. In some way, he's not well because healthy people don't treat their kids this way.
right.
Unhealthy people do. I don't know how he got so unhealthy. I don't know what he ate along the way or what ate him or whatever. But, again, we're all just born babies. And
Mm-hmm.
then we end up as adults, a byproduct of things that happen to us and how we happen to life. And somewhere along the lines, the wires got messed up.
Right.
And it's not
Yeah.
to do with Danny. It affects
Yeah.
you, but it's not your fault.
I know. Yeah. And I've uh after I got divorced, I like really, really, I was alone for a while, because the girls would stay with their mom
Sure.
and I would just be by myself and a lot of time to think and stuff. And um, that's when I really started looking into um, therapy, and along with your podcast and equal stuff like cults and all that stuff.
Mhm.
Uh, that's when I found you, and like you were a big help. Um,
Thank you.
and also, kind of going back a little bit, when I was more curious later on, I asked my mom's like, "Why are all these religions?" And she's like, "You know what? It's more of a business move, I guess. It's more like Coca-Cola, Dr. Pepper, Sprite. Everybody chooses their flavor,
Sure.
and it's just what you think you follow." But she never like said like, "Don't do religion, don't do this." She was like, "Research it, look for it, if you find something that appeals to you, go ahead. I'm not going to stop you. It's just it wasn't for us. It wasn't for me, and I didn't want you to fall into that."
Mhm.
And she's always been supportive in education, and also my grandfather, and they always told me never say no to learning something, right? So no matter what it is, why not, right? So yeah, back in the day, I would be at the library a lot, looking up stuff. Uh, uh, Now it's easier with internet in
Right.
your hands.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I learned Jews, I learned Catholicism, I learned Presbyterian, Pentecostal. They all have their gimmick. They all have the thing, and it's just. Do I believe in something? I don't know. I don't know.
Do you have to know?
It, I mean, I know there's something big and something that made us, and it didn't happen in 10,000 years or 6,000 years, whatever the Jehovah's Witness or even the move, because everybody says like, oh, the Earth was built in 6,000 years technically, and it's like,
Yeah, there's some
no,
issues with that.
yeah, no, me too. I mean, and that's why I like, I do I believe there was a Jesus? Yeah, the historical figure, maybe somebody in the past that found Houdini's magic book, and I don't know. I don't know.
Actually, I looked up one time the turning the water into wine, and I found somewhere, it was a long time ago, so don't quote
Hmm.
me on it, but that there was a magic trick that was founded back around that time of turning water into wine. And there was
Oh,
this
really? No, I
there was
actually.
this contraption that they would use to pull off this trick. And I
Mhm.
just thought that that was fascinating. I don't know what the red light was. I don't know, what really happened. I just know that now with video cameras, I'm not seeing these types of things in daily life
Right.
with evidence a lot. And so I don't
Mhm.
know. I don't
So
know.
what's funny is my grandfather and his ranch in Mexico. It was a big ranch, and we found a well,
Hmm.
like a drinking well, right? And it was nice, clear, clean water, fresh. And then a few, probably it's probably years later, the water turned red. It was like
Oh wow.
it was like Kool-Aid red, right? And we're like, what happened? So my grandfather being, a millionaire in Mexico,
Mhm.
and not having much to do, he wanted to find out why it was red. So he freaking trailed like where the water like originated from and stuff. He mapped it out and everything. It took him about 2 3 months. Well, the original like where this whole watery hole was filling up from was like a mile away, and there was a tree. It was almost like a cedar tree, but it had a dark sap, like dark red sap to it. So
Mhm.
like it was picking up from the roots. So it was just getting washed through the roots, and that's why it ended up red. It was
There's
pretty cool.
often some sort of an answer. We won't always know, but that's
Yeah,
that's cool that he found out.
yeah,
um,
yeah.
so first, I want to ask you, what's good in your life today? What do you enjoy about your life now? You're outside of this thing. You're outside of the move. Your mom is outside of the move. What do you enjoy about your life today?
Um, so obviously I would have to say my girls. I have two girls that I love, and unfortunately, my ex-wife, we had to divorce, and it was uh, uh, kind of COVID kind of let us apart
Sure.
in a way. Uh, but we still are amicable. We're still friendly. We're not at each other's throats, which is a big blessing,
Hmm.
right? Uh, but yeah, it's my daughters. We still communicate very well. Um, and then my hobbies. I mean, my mom. She's very involved in my barbecue project too. She makes handmade tortillas.
Nice.
So we're kind of like, she's from this small state in Mexico. It's called Colima, which is like southern coastal Pacific, right? It's like 2 hours south of Guadalajara.
Okay.
So, and yeah, and a lot of food. It's very regional. Like you can have mole, like on the northern part of Mexico, which is totally different from the southern part of
That
Mexico.
makes sense. Sure.
Yeah. So we're trying to incorporate that into my barbecue, right? So we incorporate some of that. We're planning on making like brisket enchiladas. You know,
Yeah, that sounds amazing.
yeah. So yeah, projects, and I've always been on the move. I like I said, I like learning things. So I did tattooing. I did refinery work. I did paralegal work. Now I'm welding and barbecuing, and it's just constant. It's just I like learning and doing all this stuff. So yes, in general, I'm very blessed and very happy in the life I'm in. Of course, a lot of decisions and detours, obviously, but yeah, it's just projects and family.
I love that. I think that that's a great note to send this out on. I'm so glad that you found freedom and happiness and things that you love today, and you have your own kids. I mean, talk about being a father, right? I think that this is where sometimes you outgrow your parents. Even
Right.
the father is you, right? Not
Right.
him. You are a father in the way you show
Right.
up in your kids' lives. I want to give you one opportunity if you want. I know we didn't kind of discuss this ahead of time or not or anything, but as I've gotten to talk to you, obviously you and your grandfather were very close. Your
Yes.
grandfather is the one who came and got you out of this situation, and your mom. You have a chance to, honor him with a cool story or a funny story, or like if you want to shout out Chano, if you want to shout him out in some way, keep his memory alive in this format and preserved. Feel free. Would you? Is there anything that you would like to share about him, or anything you would say?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, my mom, she has been my rock, right?
Hmm.
She has been through thick and thin. And if you ever get the chance to meet her, hopefully soon, you come to get some barbecue, you'll see
Yeah.
that we treat more each other like friends, like best
Hmm.
buds, than we do like son and mother.
Hmm.
We joke around with each other. We slap each other. Well, she does more of the slapping on me than I do on back to her.
Fair.
But my grandfather, I mean, he was obviously everybody, who had a great relationship with their grandfather speaks highly of them.
Hmm.
But we figured out very quick. A couple of my cousins, and especially I have an uncle that's really young. He's only like 6 years older than me. So we were in our teens together, right? But it was funny because we found out real quick when he's telling a real story, a true story, he's standing straight up and just telling you how it is. If he's telling you a made up, stupid, funny story, he stands up like Captain Morgan. So he finds somewhere he can put his foot on. He lights up a cigarette and he starts telling you a story. But once that leg comes up, it's all bullshit from there. You can't believe anything he says except for like his name and something else. But other than that,
That's
it's all
awesome.
made up. And one of those
Personality.
one of those made up stories was uh he he played marbles when he was younger.
Hmm.
Again, this made up. He played marbles with Pancho Villa. That's what he said.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know if you know who Pancho Villa is, but
I'll plead
he
innocent or ignorant. I mean,
well, Pancho Villa was like
I know
a
of the name.
revolutionary,
Okay,
like
yeah.
uh, guerrillero, right? So he
Okay.
did that. But another one, well, it's the same, right? So he was friends with Pancho Villa. He played marbles with them, but then Pancho Villa is known to be a sharpshooter,
Hmm.
right? In Mexican lore. Uh, the next fake story, along with Pancho Villa, was that when my grandfather and Pancho Villa got into a quarrel and they fought, they were very young. But this is where their sharpshooting skills came through.
Mm.
Like they got into a gunfight, him and Pancho Villa, and they were so good at it that bullets would clash in midair.
Wow, Matrix style stuff.
Yeah. So we were all just over here looking at him. We're like, "You're a load of."
He's got his leg up. Here we go.
Yeah, got that leg up.
That's funny. That's funny.
Yeah.
And what was your grandfather's name?
So his full name is Crescenciano Carrillo Mojarro,
There you go. Well,
but we always called him Chano, and Don Chano. So yeah, he was very likable person. He would sit outside the house and smoke a cigarette. And over there in Mexico, there's people riding on bikes with tamales or Mexican sweetbread or candies. They just trying to make a business, trying to hustle, and he would buy anything from them. You know, sometimes he would sit there for 2 3 hours and just have bags of food all around him that he would give away to the kids and stuff. So
well,
yeah,
I think that's how we send this out. I
got it.
appreciate you sharing your grandfather with us as well, and your
Yeah,
story and your mom's, and love that. I think you've you've gotten to create a life for yourself that I'm sure he would appreciate too. And you know, he just wanted to see you guys away from this thing that was so unhealthy. And I'm glad that glad you all have a chance at a new life, you know,
Yeah.
and have been able to seize that opportunity. Life will never be perfect, but
Right.
it's just about making the most of it, the opportunities, and you're doing that. So congratulations, Danny.
Thank you. Thank you, Mike. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate all the kind words. And yeah, it's an experience. It's an experience.
If you want to tell your story on the podcast, buy merch, or get more information, go to shunnedpodcast.com. My original podcast, This JW Life, is my story, which started all of this. You can listen to it today on podcast apps and find more at thisjwlife.com. Or if you're interested, you can read my book, Becoming Jehovah, online for free at becomingjehovah.com.